G'day. This week we're talking about the wish list inside the Caravan. Big ticket items: diesel heater, washing machine, fridge, DC to DC charger, lithium or AGM batteries, and induction cooking. So many things to talk about, so let's go. I'm absolutely thrilled with my new diesel heater. There's a couple of things to know about it. The most important thing is, if it's frustrating and you want to turn it off, don't just pull out the fuse and it'll just go blah, power off. There's a process for turning it on, there's a process for turning it off. Apparently the process for turning it on is just literally to flick the switch or press the button, hold it for a very short time, and it'll start up. Now when it does do that, what it does is it primes itself. All the diesel gets into the lines and gets it all organised, and then it's happy to get going. And when you turn it off, again, I don't know whether you can say it anti-primes itself, but it basically has a special shutdown process. But if you just pull the fuse, what can happen is the circuit board can actually melt down, and then you're in all sorts of trouble. Not that it's overly critical, but you can have to do some repairs then. So how did I get my diesel heater? Jumped online. I was going to get a 5 kilowatt, I think that's what it is, diesel heater, because, you know, biggest is best. But my brother suggested I look at a particular website who basically looked at caravans, what's the ideal size. Turns out 2 kilowatt, I think it is, would just be perfect for my caravan. So that's what I got. So I bought it online, it arrived. I found a local bloke, I was so lucky, found a local bloke who knew a man who installed diesel heaters, and the guy that he knew did that for 2 or 3 diesel heaters a day. So he's my man. He's come and fitted it in, and my life has changed. It is just so good. All those freezing nights, especially down in Ballarat, but even up here it's been pretty cold, in which case I'd wear lots of clothes to bed, and then I've got a nice little, I don't know, I call it a bear rug, but it's a pretty nice warm blanket. I have that, and then I have the doona, and then I have another blanket, plus all the clothes I'm wearing. Going to bed with the beanie on, apart from looking aside. Oh, plus a hot water bottle. All those days are gone. I mean, it gets so warm in the caravan, you can literally just be walking around in a t-shirt. So, yeah. Got to love the diesel heater. So if you don't have a diesel heater and you've got the ability to find someone who will install it, or find someone who'll do a package deal, I would definitely suggest that. With those ones where they offer you a German one, if you're jumping online, realistically, pretty much all the diesel heaters are the same. You get your 2 kilowatt and you get your 5 kilowatt. And anybody that suggests there's an 8, that's not true. What I did was I looked at a guy who'd sold a whole lot of these particular diesel heaters, and I figured if he sold that many, you can't really have that many complaints. Looked at his review on his you know, success rate seemed pretty high, so that was good enough for me. Now I'm all toasty and warm. So this is the sound of the diesel heater pumping at 2 hertz. I'll now turn it down to 1.5 and the next one will be down to 0.5. Going down to 1.5 now. Now going down to 0.5. Okay, I'm in the shower. You don't need to panic. I won't be using the full facilities. I won't be doing the da-da-da-da-da, all that sort of stuff. Just wanted to prove to you that I wanted a big shower, and in this particular caravan it is quite big. So that's me standing up, and I've got a little bit of room there. That's me standing up there, and I've got quite a lot of room there. Dimensions wise, I don't know, but it's definitely, for a bloke, it's really quite spacious. Got the little wind up for the ceiling, and then you've got the fan, then you've got the light. Oh, it's got it all. So that's my wish, to have a nice big comfy shower, and also to have the shower on the side opposite the door, so just in case this would never happen, but in case the door was open and I happen to have the shower door open as well, the worst someone's going to see is someone in the shower. Better, in my opinion, to have that than them to be sitting on the toilet saying, "Oh Lord." Anywho, that's just my opinion. But yeah, nice spacious shower, beautiful. Regarding stoves, definitely gas, big fat gas burners, that'd be great. Electric, personally think is an absolute waste of time. I've had that thing running on 240 volt when I've been in when I've had shore power, and it's just a waste. So definitely nice big fat gas jets, that's great. And I've talked to you about this before, so you can see mine's quite light. I don't even think there's gas struts or anything, but as it closes, not going to do too much damage with that. But most of the modern ones have got this kind of cover, and then they've got that cover over the top, so when you'll close this and then you'll close the second one, and that's the one that doesn't have the struts and smashes down. So a work around that would be good. Yeah. Oh look, I've got a grill there. Personally find it a bit of a waste of time. If it was a little bit deeper and had an oven, I'd probably use an oven maybe once every 3 months, and not to cook a cake and not to cook a big roast or anything. But every now and then I'll get something from the supermarket and get it back, and I haven't spent enough time researching it, and it says for cooking or for heating, place in oven. Well, I've got a microwave, so what's good is an oven? Then I've got to try and work out, will the microwave get me through it? So look, an oven would be good for an occasional. The other thing is you can get little portable pie warmers that are ovens. How good they are, I don't know. It might be a thought, it might be a consideration. Yeah, and obviously definitely have your exhaust fan. I'm not sure where it goes, but it certainly seems to take some of the smells out of the caravan, which is great. And yeah, now fridge. Personally, if I had a choice, I would not get a 3-way fridge. I find that so many people I meet, they've got dramas with them. The fridge I do like is, and there's two types. There's a, I better write it down, I better not even attempt to say it. There's 2 types. There's the 3-way, which is a fridge, and then there's the other fridge, which is 240 volt / 12 volt, which is the other type of fridge. That's the one I would like. And if you were designing your own caravan, I would get the biggest fridge you can possibly get, because the way I'm living at the moment, it's not really perfect, but I've got my fridge and a little tiny freezer, and I'm kind of forced to have the Ingle fridge running all the time as well to keep all of my stuff frozen, because the freezer in this is a bit of a waste of time. So yeah, look, the biggest possible. And not when you give a little free plug, but I've heard the Bushman fridge is really quite outstanding. So that's probably, if I was going to have one, if money were no object, I would get the as I say, the biggest fridge you can possibly get in there. Yeah, microwave, obviously I reckon microwave's great for me, just being by myself, because I'll be editing all day or filming all day and then think, oh, dinner. But with the microwave I can just plug it in, ding, it's defrosted, and then I can get on the rest of the cooking. There you go. Now, as I've said, I didn't particularly like the electric section on the 3-burner stove. However, I really quite like this. It's called an induction stove. A bit of a catch. If you're going to try and use it from your batteries, so your batteries are going from 12 volt up into 240 volt and then take it out, it really does drink a lot of power out of those batteries. If you're plugged into a Caravan park or to 240 volts from someone else, no issue, it's great. But if you're trying to use that as your normal stove, I think you're going to use quite a lot of power out of it. So how it works, you just plug in your 240 volt and it says blah, yeah, and then you select a particular heat, but you don't do that until you've got something on there, and it won't work unless you've got I think it's got to be stainless steel, or it's got to be steel, or one or the other. So it'll definitely work on these saucepans, because I know I've been using them for ages. Just not sure if it'll work on this old-fashioned kettle. Well, we'll know straight away, because it'll have an error if it doesn't work. Turn it on. Okay, so it's accepting 500 watts, I think that is. It's heating it up. I'll take it up a bit more than 500. I'm now on 1000 watts. And the important thing to have a quick look at is how much that's sucking out of the poor old batteries. Okay, it's pulling 90 amps out of the batteries. It's not criminal, it's not nothing like a toaster or a microwave. And the other question is how long it's going to take to heat that kettle. So I could have that kettle on the gas stove, there's not much water in it, it would heat up quite quickly. How quick this is, I don't know. I suppose I should time it for you guys. And the other great thing about the induction is it cools down really, really quickly, which is great if you've got kids running around the caravan and always like, oh, what's going on there? With the gas light, obviously you see the light, but as soon as the gas has gone out, if they put their hand on the rim of the hot thing, they'll burn themselves. So say this turns off quite quickly and cools down quite quickly. I won't make you go through it, but I will time how long it does to heat up something, and then I'll do the same with the gas, give you a bit of an idea. Okay, power on 1000. Well, I'll leave it on until the whistle blows. One minute, 45 seconds. Okay, it's a little bit hot but not molten, and that's about 30 seconds later. Quite a safety feature. regarding microwaves. Now, I'm indifferent what brand you get, but if you're designing your own caravan, I would get, just your little basic 800 watts. That's what this one is. That's good size. But, and brand, I actually quite like Panasonic, but because it only has a couple of buttons in there that you just like, they're pre-organised. Press this button and it bakes a potato. Press this button and it heats up a meal. But they're all about the same. But whatever you get a really common one, because sounds like a pretty minor thing, but what happened was my plate inside the microwave somehow come out and smashed. So I thought, oh, right, bit of a drama, I'll just go and grab another one. Pretty much, if you smash that plate in there, you're pretty much buying a brand new caravan, a brand new microwave. Now I even went to a place in, I think it was Darwin or somewhere like that, who had this big second-hand place that had probably 50 different plates, all from different microwaves, and I still couldn't get one to fit it. So as I said, you smash that plate, you're getting a new microwave. And yeah, look, I could take this one out, and it's obviously bolted in and everything very nicely, but it's only bolted in especially for a Samsung, Time Saver 800 watt. If I get another Samsung or another Panasonic or Sony or whatever, try and put it in there, might be wide, it might be different, the bolts won't line up. So as I say, just get a real basic one that's real common. Hope you don't smash your plate like I did. I'm in the engine room. This is underneath my bed. There's all the electrics. Now, if you don't already have a DC to DC charger, I'd recommend this one. It's called EnerDrive. EnerDrive 40 amp. Now the 40 amp just means that when the car is connected to the Caravan, it's charging the batteries at 40 amp. The cheaper and some of the other ones are only 25 amp, and it makes a big difference. So it just means the difference of, I guess if you've been driving for an hour, at 40 amps it'll really pump in quite a lot, quite quickly, whereas the 25 amp is going to take longer. So that's why I happen to like the EnerDrive. Good value. Now I'm just doing the last few things about the Dream Caravan machine. I'm doing it out here because there's less to kind of point out and show you, and I will use my seeing eye dog to assist me. Look, I thought it'd be probably not a bad idea to have a pull-out kitchen, but I was just thinking about it for the last half an hour. As much as I love the romance of it, I don't know whether I'd use it that often. Look, I probably would, and if I did, then I'd be spending less time in the caravan. So that, I mean, it's a positive thing, but equally, I don't know how easy it is to have all these things I want and a pull-out kitchen and lots of storage. So I'm still kind of between it. I like the romance of it. If you can have a smart TV, if you're going to have a TV, have a smart one, because it'd be really good to be able to have your remote so that I can project from my mobile phone up onto the TV. That's a good thing. I've also got inbuilt YouTube. I could just flick up there and use that using hotspotting and so on and so forth. So I can plug in a little USB stick, and with all the spare time I have, which I don't have a lot, I could then watch movies. So yeah, have a smart TV if you're going to have one at all. Now, washing machine. This is really controversial, because when I first bought this van, typically this van came out with a washing machine, and when I was looking at it, I thought, oh great, it doesn't have a washing machine. Great, what a waste, washing machine. But in hindsight, I think it really would be, for me, and probably a lot of people, would be a great thing to have. Be able to wash your smalls and your bigs and whatever you've got, to be able to do that, like a little bit of a wash every now and then, at least once every quarter. Yeah, it'd just be handy to be able to do that. And because, okay, look, going into laundromats are okay. Cheapest laundromat I've ever seen was $2. Typically they're between $4 and $9. $9 is at the top, but between $4 and $7 to do a wash. And then you're probably going to have your colours and your whites, so that's 2 washes. Then you can have a dryer, or you could, depending where in Australia you are, so on and so forth. So it ends up being, you know, probably not much change out of $20 or thereabouts. Now, even the cost aside, sometimes I've been into washing, into laundromats before, where you put your clothes in and they come out dirtier than they were before you put them in. And I've even put them into machines that have been faulty, and they put grease, literally grease from the washing machine, onto my clothes. So that's pretty jolly annoying. So yeah, look, in hindsight, I do think washing machine would be good. You do have to manage it, obviously, because once again, it's going to rip through the water. Washing machines, doesn't matter how small or big they are, but the small ones, they still go through a lot of water. The bed, now, as much as I did start with a small Caravan and an east-west bed, and I'm not overly tall, but I'm not short, but climbing into a bed, especially if you've got a partner, trying to squeeze up and kind of, you're never straight east to west of the bed, because you know you're going to be too tall for it. So you're being on a slight angle, and it's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's a compromise, you know. Life's a compromise. So ideally I would want a north-south bed, or people don't even refer to them that, they just say bed. Probably queen bed would be good. And yeah, that's my preference, and a little bit of room on the left-hand side, a little bit of room on the right-hand side, so you can climb out. Doesn't affect me, but if you've got a partner, one person can climb out during the middle of the night. They're not climbing over the other person. I like washable curtains. Now, I don't know whether mine are washable, but they certainly need a bit of a wash at this stage. I'm a bit worried that if I put them into a washing machine, they might just either disintegrate or shrink, and then I'll have nothing. So, and also washable seat covers. So in my lounge, my poor old chairs have, I don't know how it's happened, but they've got like a grease mark on it. It can only possibly be out of aluminium or something, but they need a good wash. And again, I don't know whether they can be washed. I'm not sure they can be dry cleaned, and I'm not even sure if they can be taken off and start again. And that's a pretty expensive option, to have to buy brand new, you know, or even probably have to have them made up, little cushions for your seats. That would be good. Oh, a big mirror in the bathroom. Now this is not just for me because of my massive ego, but it is, I've actually got a big mirror in my bathroom here in the Caravan. But if I was getting a new one or redesigning one, I would want a big one. And if I had a partner, then she would probably want a floor to ceiling, if it's possible, somewhere in the van. So when you're designing, if you're designing a new Caravan, you might want to keep that in mind. What else? Last thing was, oh yes, the batteries. So I've got twin 170 amp hour batteries. What size should you get? Well, to be honest, if you've got AGM and you're what I call weekend warrior, and you're only just popping out, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year, and you only go out for like 2 or 3 days for a long weekend, 4 days maybe, I'd hang on to your AGMs. I would not bother, seriously. No point. If you're doing a little bit of touring and you don't have a lot of needs, then maybe a single 120 amp hour battery is probably going to do it. Well, I'm talking lithium here. The only thing is with that, and here's my big argument, what size battery should you get? You get as much as you can possibly afford. Now when I first started, I changed over my little Caravan. I changed over from, I think it had 2 AGMs or 1 AGM. I changed it over to a single 120 amp hour battery. And at that time, the advertising from this particular company that I bought it from was saying that this was totally swappable. Out with the AGM, in with the lithium, didn't have to do anything else, and off I'd go. In fact, that was not true at all. So what I did, I took their word for it. So what I did was I swapped over the AGM and put in the lithium. Off I go. Oh, hang on. I need to charge the battery for whatever reason. So I had just a normal battery charger. It didn't have a lithium profile, so I had to go out and buy a special lithium charger. So that's the first thing I had to buy. Then wired up to the car and the Caravan was a DC to DC charger, a Red Arc. It was just a slightly older one. It wasn't that old. Didn't have a lithium profile, so the DC to DC wouldn't work properly. So I had to go out and buy a new DC to DC charger. And then the last thing is the system I had coming down through the roof to charge it from the solar didn't have a lithium profile, so I had to buy one of those. And that was, like at the time, or still even now, it cost a lot of money to convert over when I was told, I'd just buy one, swap it in, drive off in the sunset. So incorrect. The other mistake I made was I bought one using that argument. Well, I'll see, maybe in 3 or 6 months, maybe I'll realise I need a second battery. So I did that, found out almost within weeks that I needed a second battery. So I thought, well, I'd already bought 120, I'll buy another 120. There's a couple of things I didn't like about the first particular product I bought from these people. So I decided to buy a different brand. Oh, my Lord. There's 2 mistakes you can make. First of all, if you've got the same brand, 100 amp hour for instance, same brand exactly, and you buy it today in June 2023, then decide to, in a few months' time, to buy another one because it really wasn't enough. Turns out the BMS in the 2 of them are not going to talk to each other properly, and you won't get the full value out of having the 2 of them. If you're going to buy 2 batteries, you buy 2 absolutely at the same time. And if you're going to be buying 2 lithium batteries of different brand, oh my Lord, it's just, you've got so many complications in there because the BMS, and that might be charged, there's what they call DOD, depth of discharge, is different on each of them, and the BMS, oh, it's just a nightmare. So what I ended up doing was I basically had to sell my batteries and start again. It's just a nightmare. So if you're going to get your lithium batteries, get 2 exactly the same time, same brand, everything, and just say, well, do a leap, just get it done. And how many amp hours should you get? Look, get as much as you can afford, and some. For me personally, I've got twin 170 amp hour batteries. In hindsight, I kind of wish I had got 2 lots of 200, but you know, I'm happy enough. I think if you really want to go off grid like serious, I would say probably a minimum of 200 amp hour batteries. Again, if you can afford it, if you can really do the jump, get 2 200s, and I think you're going to be pretty safe for a long time. But if you underdo it, undercook your needs, you're really going to be kicking yourself for a long time. And there it is, in my opinion, my perfect upgrade to a second-hand Caravan, or to put into the design of a new one. As we slide into the end of the day, we slide into the end of the video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Now, there was a lot of things to cover. That's why the video is a little bit longer than normal, but I didn't want to skimp on it. I actually cut out a fair bit anyway. So hopefully, if you found the video useful, helpful, and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think it's worth sharing, as always, that would be awesome. Until next time, this is 4-Wheel Drive, signing off.